everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Interviews, back to talk more comics, and today we're talking about one of the ones that I was probably looking forward to this book more than just about as much X-Force number 3 or Something is Killing the Children and Immortal Hulk. Maybe even more than all of those, really, because Undiscovered Country number 2 just came out. And I don't know. I got into this book after a recommendation from Wes at Thinking Critical, which, thank God, he's back. Welcome back, Wes. His internet went out there in the Philippines, and it's just great to hear that everything was all right out there for the most part, for him at least. But he's the one who got me into this book. If it wasn't for his recommendation, and I believe one other person, maybe Perch. Or Gateway, I can't remember. Either way, I got into it. And this became like I fell in love with this book right away. I had heard, oh, it's like Lost and things like that, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And it kind of is in a little bit of the story structure, but it's its own thing completely. And if you don't know what Undiscovered Country is, it's about what if America closed off its walls, shut down, kicked everybody out that didn't belong or whatever. And after like 30 years, there's an invitation sent out for these people to come in because there's a disease called Sky killing everybody, and America supposedly has a cure. And if these people come in and get it, America will consider opening its borders, sort of, to see what test the waters. And you know what they say: if something's too good to be true, it's a lie. Well, our group of people find out pretty quickly that maybe there's people out there that want to trade, maybe not, but they get shot down and they're stuck behind enemy lines practically. America has basically become the Wild West meets Mad Max meets Star Wars meets, I mean, it's like, I was like maybe like Fifth Element, I don't know. It's madness. And all sorts of things have been happening behind the walls of America, where things are it's nuts. I don't even know how to really talk about it. You have to experience this book for yourself. And so we have this group of people that are trying to survive and make it to who they need to. They're trying to reach who they need to reach to get the cure for this disease. While other people have, you're finding out slowly that the people that were sent in there, they don't all have altruistic, plans for being back there. Which, of course, you need that kind of thing for a big story like this. And Scott Snyder and Charles Soule are two of the top writers out there. I kind of stepped away from Scott Snyder's Justice League just because it got to be too much for me. But it's still a pretty good story. And the art here by Giuseppe Camuncoli and Daniel Orlandini. Oh boy, buddy. This is some great art. And so we jump in to America years ago, the Heartland, where two of our main characters are Daniel and Charlotte. They're brother and sister. And in the story in the present, they have become completely different. Daniel's kind of like this mercenary type, very highly skilled, highly trained kind of guy, who's, kind of like a military background, deep black ops cover, deep cover kind of guy. And Charlotte's the one that's more of the hero, the one who wants to help people, the one who's trying to help people deal with this Sky disease. And at the beginning of this episode, they talk about how they're playing a game. Just, like kind of cowboys and Indians type thing, cops and robbers, where they're working on the same side, and suddenly he turns on her, and it's like, hey, you can't do that, we're the good guys. And he's like, sure I can, it's called a double cross. And before they can really go into that any further, they find out that their parents are sending them away because of their boss, this guy named Sam, who is basically the guy during issue number 1 who calls himself Sam, Uncle Sam, which is kind of pretty on the nose but pretty funny at the same time, that they've got to go away. They've got to leave the country. And that but they don't know when they're coming back. But so basically, their parents got stuck in America, and this guy Sam sent them away. But we don't really get any real details about like why they were sent away. But they do want to know when we're coming back, and we flash to present time, where we're dealing with the fact that when our cast of characters got behind here, they found the world a complete mess. There's like giant people riding bison, people riding giant krill and land sharks, and everybody's wrapped up in it's just crazy. I love it. It's so imaginative. We find out that they're trying to get a message out. Two of them, one of the characters, I believe her name is Vanessa, she's got these drones that have cameras on it, and they're trying to send a message back out to past the walls of America to let everybody know that they're there, they're safe, but here's the situation. Things aren't what they seem here, and we're trying to make contact with the right people. But basically, like Vanessa says, my drones are really, really good, but America's been a black box for 30 years, so I don't think you're going to get a signal out. Meanwhile, this Sam guy that says he's not Sam, he says he's he didn't send out any message. He doesn't know anything about this, and he's not the guy. It looks like to me from the pictures. Like he's just a guy that looks kind of like Uncle Sam. And we find out that there's this door that this guy called the Destiny Man is looking for. The guy that they kind of barely saw, like in this huge caravan of people, his floating city. That he's trying to find a door to lead you through the spiral. There's this like map right here on the bottom that shows like there's this spiral, which is really bizarre. It makes me think of what they talk about on Westworld, the maze. It makes me think of that. And each area has a door, and you have to get through it to get to the next level of the spiral. And so this guy is looking for it, and if you can get the key from this guy, Mr. Destiny, then you can get through to the next side. And if you don't, right now they're basically saying, well, we just want to get out of here. Some of them are anyway. Charlotte's like, we need to keep going. We need to find this cure that they say they have, which is kind of, it's a little naive at this point. I think I would just be like, yeah, there's no cure. This was something else. I don't know why they want us here, but it's not to give us something. You know what I mean? So he's like, once you you get the key from the Destiny Man, you give it to me, I'll show you the way out. You don't want to leave. You won't want to leave once you see what's what. But if we open the door together and nothing changes for you, off you go. Well, meanwhile, they're also worried about their pilot, Pawlowski, I believe his name is. He was like kind of at the beginning of this story to get Charlotte. And he was captured. He had his foot eaten by a bison. And he's captured by the Destiny Man, who's got this great design. In fact, like he's that guy squatting, he's guy in the cover. And they have these great designs in the back of this book for what this guy looks like. And all the like different details of his outfit that are just really fantastic. In fact, they have like designs for like the guy on the bison. It's really, really dope. He wants to know, he wants to know where the door is, right? What the hell do you want from me? Only the truth. Oh, that's all the Destiny Man ever tell him. Okay, tell him where to find the door. Okay, there's a lot of writing, so sorry. It's also early in the morning. I wanted to get to this last night, but I've been recording so many videos. Also, since he doesn't know where this door is, they say they'll put you on the wall, which it's a very terrible existence. Where you're hanging there trying to climb the walls, literally. But until you die. It's basically a death sentence. There's also somebody named Aurora that they're looking for, because he's like saying that that's the person that let this group in. And we flash back to a few weeks earlier when Graves, Daniel Graves, the brother here, gets commandeered basically to take this mission. That they know that this isn't just what he does. Like he's living in this filthy backwater, they call it. And you tried to break into the United States, almost started World War V. And so they want him to come back in. And it's funny that this group, they give him this like 10-year-old bottle of bourbon. And so they drink it with him. And then he's approached like 4 days earlier than that. Or no, 3 weeks earlier. Okay, and then 4 days earlier, he's approached by another group, the Pan-Asian Prosperity Zone. These people also want him to go in there. So he's got all these people trying to get him to be a part of their thing. And then they need to get, so they decide they have to get their pilot out, and that the smartest way is to get this, well, the only way really is to get the key from this Mr. Destiny man. And so, but they've got to get in there, and to get in there, they got to get past all these monsters, all these people, these human monsters, and all the things they're riding. And so they go out there, and Uncle Sam's, they get this Uncle Sam guy to go out there, and hey, so he's like a distraction, and they fire it all up, and he falls to the ground, right? And he's like, turns into this like zombie. It gets back up, and it gets these guys that are riding these giant krill like off their game just enough to let the group past. And I mean, again, the art, man, is just so fantastic. And so they're able to attack these guys and sneak in, and they separate. And Daniel goes his own way. And we find out something that made me, from the very beginning, where he says that he's a double crosser. And you find out in this that he is possibly doing that here, because he says he's trying to make up for things that he's done, the bad things he's done. And he meets up with this guy who's talking the same way as Mr. Destiny, and he says, "The way has been cleared. Are you prepared to fulfill your destiny?" And that I'm ready to do what he wants. A deal's a deal. I'm Destiny's man. So one of our heroes, I mean, he never proclaims to be a hero, right? He's done terrible things, but you'd hope that he's on the side of the good guys. But it appears right now that he got in there when he was in there before. It sounds like he was in there before, and now he's working for the people that are on the inside of America, or this Mr. Destiny at the very least. So. And he's got that spiral tattoo on his stomach, which maybe somebody should have looked at before he went on this. We got like a couple of quotes in here about from people, like from the oral history of the Ceiling, saying, "I miss the music. Do you think American bands kept recording albums after the Ceiling? I wonder if we'll ever hear them." And then they talk about like a Star Wars Episode 12. Like, I didn't like it as much. It was after the Ceiling, so half the actors were digital, and back then they still looked pretty fake. And then we have our little map of how things went down, and then a couple of pages about from Charles talking about the process and the gratefulness and the wow that they get, the response from people reading issue number 1. This is just as, this is an incredible book. This comes with my highest recommendation. Seriously, this book is fantastic. It's got a great story, great characters, great art, great writing. It hits everything out of the park completely. And it's not an X-Men book. It's not Hulk. It's not Batman or DC or Marvel. Image still puts out some pretty decent books. And like I said, without The Walking Dead and other things going on right now, Saga's still not going. Image needs a big breakout hit, and I really feel like Undiscovered Country is that. And it feels like if this book can keep up and deliver pretty much on a monthly basis, this is going to be the book of the year. I mean, I would call it the book of the year right now, but it's only 2 issues in, and it's December. But next year, this book could definitely be the best book of next year. for sure. Right now, it's to me, it's the best book that's come out in the last few months since House of X and Powers of 10. So that's Undiscovered Country. I hope you liked this review. If you did, hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. And then this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying have a great day, and we'll see you on the next comic book video. Bye.